Good evening, BookTube. This is Johnny. I thought I'd make a video. I looked at my YouTube channel. It's been 3 or 4 days. It is June the 29th. It is a Wednesday here in West Michigan. It is 11 minutes after 7 o'clock in the evening. It is 79 degrees. I'm down in the lower level. It's cooler down here. Upstairs it's kind of, I think it's 81 up there. And yeah, I've been debating whether to make a video, but things are piling up. I got, maybe 25 books over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23, 26, yeah, about 30 books of used books I haven't even shown. But what I want to do in this video, as I mentioned in my last video, as you all know, I volunteer at the library used bookstore, bookstore, the Book Nook. And I told you a lady came in, has been coming in and getting rid of thousands of books, and she, last year before COVID, she got rid of a lot of books. And I bought all her books on book collecting and book collectors, bibliomania and things. I showed you some of those by Nicholas Bandbeans. I think I showed you that. I showed you these, his collection. He wrote that famous book, Gentle Madness. I showed you his collection, but I didn't show you the other books, on book collecting and librarians and people who collect books and sell old books. And so I thought, yeah, I'd do this in this video. I know maybe I'm not making sense, but there's a big stack of them here, and I just thought I'd show them to you. I'm not going to do a Friday reads. Tomorrow's a Thursday. Tomorrow we have to cover at the Book Nook. Somebody called me today and said, could you cover for from 10 to 1 tomorrow, because they got COVID. They went on vacation. They came back and they had COVID, and so it's from 10 to 1. And my wife said that she would do from 10 to 12 with Josie, our granddaughter, and then I would come at 12 and do it from 12 to 1, because Friday I do it from 10 to 1, and then the coming Monday, which is, what's right, Monday is 4th of July. We go to that giant used book sale in Grand Rapids, so I don't have to do the Book Nook on the 4th. That's kind of nice. But I've been reading in the mornings. I got a new Reformation commentary in 2 Corinthians that I was reading this morning. But I've been reading this, Uncovering the Sixties, The Life and Times of the Underground Press by Peck. Been reading this, and reading also The Marriage of Cadmus in Harmony by Roberto Calasso. I've been reading this evening. So here are the books I'm talking about. A Passion for Books by Lawrence Clark Powell, librarian, University of California at Los Angeles. Reading books, collecting books, and the art of librarianship are the theme of this enchanting volume by a distinguished librarian and bookman. And this came out, this is even a signed copy. It's dedicated to somebody, but this came out in this came out in 1958. He wrote a lot of books. I didn't notice that until just now. He wrote an introduction to Robinson Jeffers. He's a poet. The Man and His Work. Manuscripts of D.H. Lawrence. Islands of Books, Land of Fiction, The Alchemy of Books, Heart of the Southwest, Books West, Southwest, Southwestern Century, A Passion for Books. So there's a picture of them in the back. And then this is an older volume, A Love Affairs of a Bibliomaniac by Eugene Field. This is an older book, came out in 1901. He wrote a bunch of books, Eugene Field. Second book of Tales, Songs and Other Verse, The Holy Cross and Other Tales, Love Affairs of a Bibliomaniac. So this is, it looks like just his love for books. Like, you know, he has little essays. The Luxury of Reading in Bed. Let me see what's it, table of contents. First Love, The Birth of a New Passion, The Luxury of Reading in Bed, The Mania of Collecting Seizes Me, Baldness and Intellectuality, My Romance with Flametta. I don't know what that is. He goes on and on. Anyway, I got that. This is 1901. This is a little book, The Amenities of Book Collecting and Kindred Affections by Edward Newton. I showed you another book by Edward Newton. I've been reading this one. This is The Book Collecting Game by Edward Newton. This is an older one too. And then he wrote this one, Edward Newton, The Amenities of Book Collecting and Kindred Affections by A. Edward Newton, Modern Library. And then you have the Book Lovers Itranian. I can't pronounce that. The Book Lovers Itranian, Thoughts on the Solace and Companionship of Books by Alexander Ireland. This came out in 1884. This is a really old book. It seems to have thoughts on solace and companionship of books. He has essays here on all these chronological list of authors quoted. I don't really know what this book is about. Let's see if there's anything in here. No. Anyway, picked it up. This is The Adventures of a Treasure Hunter, a rare bookman in search of American history. Charles P. Everitt. Charles B. Everitt early developed an interest in Americana when he witnessed a transaction in which a bookseller paid $1 for a bunch of pamphlets, sold them the few days for $250. They were the rare Poor Richard's Almanac, which later bought for $3,200 at an auction. He once bought 2 copies of the first book illustrated by Charles Russell for 5 cents apiece, sold them for $200. So that's what this is about. This one came out, The Adventures of a Treasure Hunter, in The Rare Bookman in Search of American History, 1952. And then Negatoff's Butterfly, Other Stories of Great Authors and Rare Books by Rick Czekowski. Includes Catcher in the Rye, On the Road, The Hobbit, Animal Farm, Ulysses, Tales of Peter Rabbit, Lord of the Flies, Sons and Lovers, Lolita, Satanic Verses, 7 Pillars of Wisdom. So it's just other stories of great authors and rare books. Negatoff's Butterfly. And then David Lowe, bookseller, With All Faults. I think this is a memoir of a book collector or a person who sold books, but it looked interesting. And then A Magnificent Farce and Other Diversions of a Book Collector by Edward Newton, another A. Edward Newton book. This one came out in Atlantic Monthly Press, 1921. Here's another book by Lawrence Clark Powell, Books in My Baggage, More Delightful Essays on Books, Collecting, Authors, and Joys of Reading by the author of Passion for Books. And then this book, A Miscellany for Bibliophiles. It looks like just a bunch of essays by different, here's an essay by Robert H. Taylor of Dealers and Collectors. Just different essays by different book collectors, it looks like. People who'd sell books, collect books. None of them really jump out at me, but it looked interesting. It has all kinds of interesting illustrations, and I don't know, it looked interesting. I like reading about books, making of books, old books, book dealers, book collectors, people who collect first editions. I just like reading about books. Then the last book is The Book of Lost Books, Incomplete History of All the Great Books You Never Read by Stuart Kelly. And this is just on great books, like, just a list of all these books. Origin, Abraham Cowley, Ben Jonson, William Shakespeare, Edmund Spenser, Thomas Carlyle, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, Gutra, just about different writers and books. So that's the books on books that I picked up. They cost me a lot of money. I mean, these books were not cheap. They were not cheap. But I wanted them. As I mentioned, that the year before COVID, I bought a whole bookcase. You can see them over there. I mean, those books over there in that bookcase are all books on books that I got from that lady last year. So that's almost, I don't know. But I like reading, like I said, I like reading about books and book collecting. And even though I personally would never get into book collecting. Now I am a book collector, but I mainly collect books that I'm going to read. I'm not into the binding. I'm not into first editions. I'm not into who published it. You know, I'm not into any of that stuff. I'm just into reading certain things. I like to have things just to read and to learn. I read books to learn. I like books that teach me something, that give me information, or I like reading about American history. I like reading about the 60s. That's why I'm reading this book. The 60s, uncovering the 60s, the life and times of the underground press. And I like reading, this is on mythology, Greek mythology. And I did get another book in the mail. I got this book in the mail. I get that Princeton University Press had a 50% off sale. And I looked through it, and the only thing, I had looked at this book a year before, It's called The City-State of Boston, The Rise and Fall of Atlantic Power, 1630 to 1865, by Mark Peterson. These are the kind of books I like to read. I like to read American history. I collect books on Boston, Massachusetts. And so I picked this up. It's 50% off. Those are the kind of things I like to read. Of course, I'm always reading the Bible. Most of my reading is on the Bible. Like I said, I got a Reformation commentary on 2 Corinthians. I read systematic theology. I read, what else I'm reading? I read medieval, that Ludolph of Saxony, the life of Jesus Christ. And so the point is, and the books I have here in the lower lub are all basically all used. I got them from used bookstores, thrift stores, used book sales. You know, I've been doing it for a lot of years. So I did pick up this. Last time I volunteered at the Book Nook, I picked this up for $4. A 2-volume biography on John Adams by Page Smith. I've been reading a lot on John Adams and John Quincy Adams. So this came into the Book Nook. I picked it up last Monday. It's perfect condition. And I had another book by Page Smith that I think I dehauled. But I picked this up on John Adams. So those are the kind of things I like to read. And see, I'm learning something. Some people just collect books because they like the binding or whatever. I'm just not into that. So, like I said, today is a Wednesday. It is June the 29th. Tomorrow is the last day of June. And I'm doing okay. Like I said, I'm reading Van Mastricht on the work of God and the fall of man in the mornings, reading Ludolph of Saxony. Now on the resurrection of Christ, I'm reading that 2 Corinthians commentary. I'm reading all kinds of stuff. Writing in my diary. And yeah. So I hope you had a good reading week, that you have a good 4th of July. I don't think I'll make another video. I'll make a video showing the used books over there from thrift stores in the Book Nook, and I go to a big book sale this coming Monday on the 4th. So there'll be future videos. And yeah, so thank you for your comments. Do pray you're all doing well. Stay safe. Don't blow yourself up on the 4th of July yeah, so until next time, bye.